This is the time of year when we celebrate all of our graduates. Taylor Rowles is the first person to ever attend the U.S. Coast Guard Academy from Holliston High School. She graduates and receives her commission this month. Let's meet Taylor. Taylor, why did you choose the Coast Guard Academy?
I chose the Coast Guard Academy because from a very young age I was interested in the ocean and the beach, and growing up I had a beach house in Sandwich on Cape Cod, and they have a Coast Guard station and an air station on Cape Cod, and I would always see the small boats pulling out near the canal there, and I always became interested in it. And then when my junior year in high school, I started to do research, and I became really interested in the programs that they offer, and I really wanted to make more out of the college experience and try to really give back upon graduation.
Mm-hmm. So what kinds of things did you, what made that program different from, say, West Point or the Naval Academy? What was unique about the Coast Guard Academy?
One of the big differences between the Coast Guard Academy and the other service academies is that it is much smaller, so it is a more focused program, I would say. And upon graduation, we go directly into the fleet, whereas versus West Point, Naval Academy, they have to do additional training before going into the field. So our program is really like compact, and you get a lot out of the 200-week program.
Wow. And what was your specialty or your major in the program?
So I'll be receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering. So upon graduation, that's what I'll be receiving along with my commission. And the other requirements that we do are 4 years of navigation, maritime law enforcement, and all different types of maritime studies that would prepare us to become a Coast Guard officer.
So what was your favorite, navigation sounds really interesting. What was your favorite thing to study?
I really actually enjoyed navigation because there's different aspects with mote boards, paper charts, and all the new technology with like electronic charting. And we have simulators at school where you go in and it's like a bridge scenario. You're on the bridge of a boat. They can set it to be raining or snowing or anything, and they can actually set the different platforms too. So it's really a unique experience to be like in a 3D simulator.
That's very interesting. I can see why you'd like that. Yeah. What about the physical side of it? What was that like, the training?
Yes, for sure. During SWAB summers, our 8-week boot camp previous to your freshman year. So before you go to boot camp, and it's the typical military, like running around, doing push-ups, yelling, screaming. It's definitely quite rigorous, I would say. During those 8 weeks, they want to get you in shape. But all the students of the Coast Guard Academy are athletes in some way, shape, or form. Most of us participate in D3 athletics or club sports. So you also have a few fitness requirements throughout your time there. You have to take a test, run 1.5 miles, push-ups, sit-ups. So they like to keep you in shape for sure, but no more yelling and screaming once the academics start.
What about swimming? Do you have to have swimming tests?
Yes, so you actually take professional rescuer, and everybody becomes a lifeguard. Most everybody becomes a lifeguard. But not everybody in the Coast Guard has to be a lifeguard. That's one of the misconceptions. But
yeah. So, and how about like just basic sailing? Do you learn how to sail like a boat without a motor, or that's archaic? No.
No, we actually have a lot of unique sailing opportunities. We sail on America's tall ship, the Bark Eagle, which is now home ported in New London, Connecticut. But throughout our different training programs, through third class, first class summer, you have opportunity to go on the Bark Eagle. I had the opportunity to go last summer to a tour across Europe for the 75th anniversary of DDay, and I went to Germany, Belgium, Copenhagen, France. Really unique opportunities to sail. It's like a big pirate ship kind of with 3 masts, and you have to learn all the sail nomenclature. But in addition to that, we also do some basic sailing with dinghy boats, and during your second class summer, so that's your junior year, or right before your junior year, you take a 44-foot leadership boat and sail up and down New England, learning how to sail. And you have one private safety officer on board, but he kind of really just wants you to learn it yourself, and they only step in if they need to. So
that's very exciting that there's a historic background to what you've been doing. How was it working on that D-Day cruise? Did you meet a lot of people? How did you feel? Close to history, or?
Yes, it was extremely exciting. I fortunately was the community outreach liaison, so I had a really unique opportunity because I spoke a little bit of French, so I tried to use that to my advantage and help out in the best way that I could. So I was talking to a lot of foreign dignitaries, and I actually had the opportunity to go to the Ardennes Cemetery in Belgium, and they had a laying of the wreath ceremony for D-Day, and I was able to lay the wreath, and I felt so connected to history, and I really felt part of the military.
That's intense. That's wonderful. So what will be your assignment when you graduate? What are you going to be doing?
Upon graduation, I'll be a deck watch officer on the Coast Guard cutter Mohawk in Key West, Florida. It's a 270-foot cutter that does 2 to 3 month patrols out of the Key West to Eastern Pacific, Caribbean. They even do some Atlantic ones too. So I'll be doing that.
And your rank is?
I'll be an ensign in 01 in the Coast Guard.
Okay. And how long will that assignment be?
That assignment will be about 2 years.
So you're going to get a good tan by the time that's over.
Hopefully.
It must be exciting to know that where you're going to be right after graduation. You're going to be jumping right into it. So as far as your career in the Coast Guard, what are your goals?
As of right now, I kind of have left all doors open, but 2 paths that I could potentially take is maybe going to Coast Guard aviation after my first tour, so learning how to become a pilot for either a helo or a fixed wing. Or I'm also really interested in the National Strike Force, which is a special operations team from the Coast Guard that responds to environmental emergencies, terrorist attacks, any natural disasters. They work really closely with FEMA in maybe pursuing a graduate degree in emergency management or leadership that would help me go towards that direction. So.
Okay. Do you think you'll be in the Coast Guard for the whole career, or?
It's kind of hard to say at this point. I just kind of want to see what it's like in the real fleet, because the academy is definitely a training program. So I enjoy it as of right now, and if I continue to enjoy it, I'll keep on going.
Great. So what person or persons have been most inspirational to you?
My parents definitely are one of my biggest inspiration, just their work ethic. And another inspiring leader that I've had for a young age was my grandfather, Paul Rowles, who he did a lot with the Holliston programs while at his time here, and just seeing his work ethic and continuing to pursue when there were obstacles really motivated me to kind of want to do something more.
How does it feel to be graduating in the middle of a worldwide historic event like this pandemic?
It's very exciting in some ways. We are definitely making history, the class of 2020. Although it's not what we've dreamed of with our graduation, it's still quite the honor to be graduating in our class, and it's a very exciting time. And this class is actually the biggest class that's graduating from the Coast Guard Academy, with the most amount of girls in history. So it's quite the historical class. And I feel for everybody that was in my high school graduating class that is not having their graduation. And during the pandemic, we can just try our best. So.
Right. So there's a tradition when you graduate from one of the service academies. Tell us about it.
So the tradition is that we have a first salute with the first person we see, but of course, because we're having a virtual graduation, we're not going to be seeing anybody. But fortunately, one of my close friends, who's also in the military in the local area, will be able to do that. And so
good. And where are you going to throw your cap?
At the town hall in Holliston, I plan to throw my cap. I think if I threw it in my living room, it would fall pretty quickly because it's not too high. But
wow. Well, I hope that you throw it well and high.
Thank
and that we get to see and follow your achievements from now on. You've got a lot of great things ahead of you.
Thank you.
Great. Congratulations and good luck to all of Holliston's 2020 graduating classes. For HCAT TV, this is Chryso Lawless.